Picture a group of friends trading jelly houses. At first, it's just a playful game. Everyone is having fun, swapping their wobbly, colorful homes back and forth, laughing as they go. But soon something changes. Suddenly everyone wants a jelly house and the excitement grows. People start offering more and more, not because the jelly is any better, but because they believe they can sell it for even more later. The price of jelly houses shoots up, fueled by the hope of quick profits. This is what we call a bubble. Prices rising far beyond what the jelly houses are really worth, driven by excitement, speculation, and the dream of endless gains. People forget about the true value, and focus only on the rising prices. A housing bubble works the same way, but with real homes instead of jelly ones. The stakes are much higher, and the impact is much bigger. People rush to buy, convinced that prices will never fall. They fear missing out, so they jump in, sometimes stretching their finances just to get a piece of the action. The frenzy pushes prices even higher, stretching them far past what homes are truly worth. The market becomes more and more unstable, like a balloon being blown up too much. But bubbles can't grow forever. Eventually something small, like a change in interest rates or a drop in demand, pops them. When a housing bubble bursts, prices crash almost overnight. The value of homes drops quickly, leaving many people in a tough spot. People who bought at the top suddenly find their homes worth much less than they paid. Some are forced to sell at a loss, while others are stuck with big mortgages and shrinking home values. The excitement vanishes in an instant, replaced by confusion and financial mess. The whole community feels the impact, not just the buyers and sellers. Housing bubbles are fueled by hope, fear of missing out, and the belief that prices only go up. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement and forget the risks. But when reality hits, the fall is hard. And it affects everyone, not just buyers and sellers. Builders, banks, and even renters can feel the shockwaves. It's a simple idea with messy, far-reaching consequences. The effects can ripple through the whole economy, touching lives in unexpected ways. That's the danger of a bubble. It always pops, and when it does, the results can be dramatic and long-lasting. In America, owning a home was more than just a place to live. It was the ultimate dream, a symbol of success, stability, and security. For many families, a house represented a fresh start, a place to build memories, and a legacy to pass down through generations. For decades, house prices rose steadily, making home ownership seem like a guaranteed way to build wealth. People watched as their homes increased in value year after year, turning ordinary families into millionaires on paper. People saw neighbors making huge profits and wanted in, fueling demand. The excitement was contagious. Everyone wanted a piece of the action, hoping to catch the next big wave. The government encouraged homeownership, offering programs, tax breaks, and incentives to help people buy. It was seen as a way to strengthen communities and grow the middle class. Banks eagerly handed out loans, making money with every deal. Lenders competed to offer mortgages, sometimes to people who couldn't really afford them, just to keep the profits rolling in. It felt like a win for everyone. Buyers got homes, banks made money, and the economy boomed. Construction jobs soared, and entire neighborhoods sprang up almost overnight. Soon people started buying houses just to sell them quickly for profit, flipping, pushing prices even higher. The market became a frenzy, with homes selling in days, sometimes hours. The belief that house prices never fall became a national mantra. It was repeated by friends, family, and even experts on TV. This optimism blinded everyone to the risks. Warnings were ignored and doubts were brushed aside in the rush to get in on the boom. The system depended on endless growth, but no one questioned if it could last. The higher prices climbed, the more people believed the good times would never end. The rush to buy, flip, and profit created a fragile foundation. Underneath the excitement, cracks were forming, hidden but growing. When belief replaces reality, the stage is set for disaster. The show looked perfect from the audience, but behind the scenes, trouble was brewing. The dream was built on shaky ground, and soon everyone would find out just how fragile it really was. To keep the housing boom going, people needed loans, and banks were eager to provide. Getting a mortgage used to be tough, but during the bubble, banks dropped their standards. They invented subprime loans for people with shaky finances, often with low teaser rates that later jumped sky high. Some loans didn't even require proof of income, so-called liar loans. Banks stopped asking if borrowers could really afford their homes. The risk was huge, but everyone assumed rising prices would cover any problems. Easy money fueled the bubble, making it bigger and more dangerous. Both banks and buyers believed nothing could go wrong, but the foundation was crumbling beneath them. Why did banks make so many risky loans? Because they didn't plan to keep them. Banks bundled thousands of mortgages, good and bad, into mortgage-backed securities or MBS. These packages were sold to investors worldwide who trusted high grades from credit rating agencies. Most investors didn't realize many loans inside were risky subprime mortgages. Banks made quick profits and moved on, passing the risk along. The system connected banks, pension funds, and investors everywhere. Everyone was making money, so no one looked too closely at what was inside the box. The financial world was playing past the parcel with a ticking time bomb. When the music stopped, the risk would land somewhere. No one wanted to be holding it, but the danger was growing with every deal. The system worked, at least for a while. For years, families moved into new homes, believing the good times would last forever. Lenders handed out loans, and everyone seemed to win. Until it didn't. When teaser rates on risky loans ended, reality set in for many homeowners. Monthly payments soared overnight, catching families off guard. Suddenly, what once seemed affordable became impossible to manage. Many families couldn't pay. At the same time, house prices stopped rising and began to fall. Suddenly the value of homes dropped, erasing years of gains in just months. People owed more than their homes were worth. They were underwater. They couldn't sell or pay, trapped by debt and falling prices, leading to a wave of defaults as families lost their homes and savings. Foreclosures swept through neighborhoods. For sale signs popped up everywhere, flooding the market and driving prices down further. The more prices fell, the more people defaulted, a downward spiral that seemed unstoppable. The dream of homeownership turned into a nightmare. Neighborhoods emptied, and the belief in ever-rising prices collapsed. The housing market's foundation had crumbled. The party was over and the crash was underway. Years of risky bets unraveled in months, leaving families and communities in shock. The fallout was just beginning, and the true cost would take years to understand. The crash didn't just hurt homeowners, it shook the entire world. Those mortgage-backed securities, once rated A+, were suddenly worthless as people defaulted. Banks and investors faced massive losses, discovering their gold was actually junk. Some of the world's biggest banks failed and trust in the financial system evaporated. Lending froze, businesses couldn't get loans, and millions lost their jobs. The crisis spread globally, triggering the Great Recession. Governments stepped in with huge bailouts to prevent total collapse. This was controversial. Bankers were rescued, while ordinary people suffered. The recovery was slow and painful, with lasting scars. One market's collapse had shaken the world economy. What did we learn? If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. The fantasy of endless price growth led to disaster. Debt is powerful but dangerous, and easy money can hide big risks. Complex financial products can conceal danger even from experts. Responsibility matters. When lenders don't face consequences, bad decisions multiply. New rules now try to make banks share the risk. The crisis showed how connected the world is. One market's fall can shake the globe. The housing bubble is a cautionary tale. Always question the foundation before you build your dreams.